United States Soccer Federation presents the U.S. Soccer Podcast.
I'm your host, Megan Klingenberg. One thing I promised you is an all-access pass that you wouldn't get on any other show. And we found out that whoever comes on scores a goal. Burhope, Freeman, Trusty. U.S. Soccer Podcast magic is real, people. We still got plenty of coverage all throughout this World Cup. Okay, let's get into it.
The U.S. Soccer Podcast, presented by Henkel. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
It is 11 o'clock. Welcome back in. This is Three-Man Front on a Wednesday. Appreciate Scott Hamilton joining the program. Also talked to Brian Edwards from Vegas Insider, and now happy to be joined on the program for the first time, Ryan Bartow from Auburn Undercover. And if you're a subscriber to Auburn Undercover, you noticed a few changes with the website. Now Auburn Undercover is independent, is now not part of the 247 network. And Ryan is coming on board to cover the Auburn Tigers, and he joins us now on the Higginbotham hotline. Ryan, welcome to Three-Man Front. I hope you're well.
Good morning. Yes, the site just launched this morning at 8 a.m. I arrived in Auburn yesterday after hitting up a couple high schools on the way down from my home state of Wisconsin and giving this passionate fan base all the juice and more that they deserve.
All right, so tell me, Ryan, you're from Wisconsin. First impressions of Auburn, Alabama.
Well, I did 7 years at Clemson when I worked for Rivals.com. Very similar program to me, passionate fan base, awesome geography. You can get probably 90% of your roster in 3 states, and Saturdays are the most important here in the Deep South.
And a lot of people will say that Clemson is Auburn, but it has a lake. It's kind of the only difference.
Exactly. I've heard that one for a while. So, yeah, it's exciting to be in a place where there's good weather, there's great talent, there's real defensive linemen, and there's like-minded individuals.
Well, I want to start this, and I know that, going rhyme and verse about all of the wins that they've had recruiting-wise for this Auburn team, but with your strong background being at Rivals for a very long time, Auburn's putting together a very nice class right now, right around the top 10, depending on what service you want to subscribe to. But overall, just the people that you talk around the country, just kind of mention that about this Auburn football program and the positive nature in regards to the recruiting.
Yeah, it's been impressive. I think they have a good NIL base. They have great geography where you're right next to the 4th best state in the country for talent in Georgia. Literally in the last 15 years, because remember, I spent all that time at Clemson, and Dabo is from Alabama, so he would always take a few guys from his home state every year. I think the quality of talent in the state of Alabama and paying the high school coaches is a big reason, has increased tenfold in the last 15 years, especially where you guys are at in Birmingham, Montgomery, and I love the kids in Mobile. And so that's improved a lot. And Auburn traditionally has had a good brand where I used to live when I worked for 24/7 in Fort Lauderdale and Broward. They've been able to dip in and get some of the top players in South Carolina and in D-line heaven in North Carolina as well. So I think there's a lot of excitement with the new staff here. I think it starts at the top with Alex Golish, a Midwest guy, really, really good personality, but most of all, a hustler and good work ethic. And he surrounded himself with a ton of elite recruiters. Larry Porter is one of the best in the country in regards to talent acquisition. DJ Durkin, DeMarcus Van Dyke was mentioned a ton when I was at McEachern High School yesterday with Kareem Reed's loaded roster, and the list goes on. So talent acquisition is the name of the game, and I'm a big-time believer in players over plays, and I think you're seeing a lot of that already, and that when you add that up, that really equals a promising future for the Auburn Tigers.
As for this season, Ryan, when you look at the makeup of this Auburn roster, position groups are by player. Why should Auburn fans be excited?
One, you have a real dual threat QB in Byron Brown. He's 6'3", 230. He's proven on the college level. That's what wins on Saturdays. Not Sundays. On Saturdays, dual threat QBs that can make plays with not only their arm but their feet. That way you can play 12 against 11. And when Auburn traditionally is good whether it was Marshall or Newton, and the list goes on, they've had a real dual threat QB. Combine that with a spread tempo offense that has a heavy emphasis on the run game. They're extremely improved at offensive tackle, which in the past has been probably their biggest bugaboo. They went in the portal and got 2 real ones at offensive tackle. I think they've upgraded through the portal their receiving core. And most of all, they have the best linebacker in the conference. They have depth on the D-line. My only concerns going in the season, and this is from Golish a couple of weeks ago, he mentioned on a different podcast, how does the O-line with 5 new guys mesh together, and how does that secondary come together? Because the rest of the roster is pretty strong, and gosh, it needs to be, because when you play in the deep end of the pool in the SEC, there's really no breaks.
Talking to Ryan Bartow from Auburn Undercover. Need to check out Auburn Undercover, brand new site. Same great coverage of Auburn athletics there at auburnundercover.com. All right, Ryan, let's talk about the ceiling for this team, because you just mentioned a lot of positive attributes about this team, especially on the offensive side of the ball. And Durkin's got some great pieces coming back on the defensive side. Bowl game, we all predict here on this show, that's going to happen for Auburn. But what, in your opinion, as of this moment, it is still summertime, no fall camp yet, but where's the ceiling, in your opinion, when you look at that schedule?
I mean, it's very doable because you get your tough games in the first month against an improved Vanderbilt team, against the Gators on my birthday, against Baylor. They're all in like home field advantage. But once you get to October, check this out. At Tennessee, at Georgia, you're hosting LSU, and at Ole Miss, who I think is one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the SEC. I mean, that's murderer's row. And then it eases off in the last month with Arkansas, and then at Mississippi State, Samford, and then the Iron Bowl, of course. But I think the goal in year 1 here is to do something they haven't done here in 5 years, have a winning record, get to a bowl game, show promise, show progress, and then you bring in a top 10 recruiting class with that. You're probably going to add a bunch of pieces in the portal, and then you're off and going with a solid foundation.
You're absolutely right. As we continue here with Ryan Bartow, Auburn Undercover, joining us on 3-Man Front, joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. Some of those coin flip games, and you mentioned them, but individual games, you mentioned the schedule, the stretch of having to go to Tennessee, having to go to Athens, getting LSU, but that first quarter of the season, the first 4 games, you get Baylor, got Southern Miss, Florida, and Vanderbilt. Florida, is that a coin flip game for you? Do you give the Gators an edge here in the preseason?
I think Florida is in a very, very similar situation as Auburn. New coach, talented roster, but quite frankly, in the last half decade has underachieved. Both hungry fan bases. That is a coin flip game. The advantage Auburn has is it's at home. And if it was the other way, you might flip the coin the other way. But that's probably their toughest game in the first month.
Traditionally, how have teams that you covered on your birthday fared?
They've never lost, man. It's a special day.
Okay. All right. That's what Auburn fans wanted to hear.
There's no doubt about that. Well, Ryan, listen, we wanted to welcome you to Alabama. Wanted to welcome you to the beat as Auburn Undercover launches their brand new site today. Look forward to catching up with you as the season progresses. And once again, welcome to Alabama.
Welcome to Alabama, Ryan.
Hey, I appreciate both you guys. I'd be happy to come on anytime. Stopped and saw the top running back in the country Monday, Myson, Johnson, Cook, and guys, this guy is going to make Auburn fans very happy. All a 6'2", 240, runs a 10'3". He's like a Stephen Davis. I'm not going to compare anybody to Bo Jackson, but he's got some Rudy Johnson, Brent Fullwood to him. Very, very unique guy. But most of all, to all your listeners, hop on to Auburn Undercover. I've covered recruiting on a national level for a long time. I'll go to 85 to 90 schools before Thanksgiving. Nobody will provide more well-sourced juice and on-site coverage than the independent market leader in auburnundercover.com.
You're going to enjoy wintertime a lot more down here.
Amen. Thank the good Lord.
Amen. Amen.
Thank you, Ryan. Great to catch up. We'll talk to you again very soon.
Have a blessed day, guys.
Thank you so much. That is Ryan Bartow
like that
from
guy.
Auburn Undercover. He joined us on the Higginbotham Hotline. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services. Speaking of Auburn, when we come back, a little bit of Auburn basketball news that we will share with you. That's next on Three Man Front.
Little journey coming back. 11:14, 3 Man Front here on this Wednesday. Already a busy, jam-packed first hour and 15 minutes of the show. We got started earlier with our buddy Brian Edwards of Major Wager. We just talked to Ryan Bartow. And, of course, we had our buddy Scott Hamilton covering ACC Media Days, talking about that and so much more. We'll get to your text as well at 205-834-9450. Did want to take time to tell you about our friends at EcoView Windows and Doors. EcoView, locally owned and operated. It's a national brand. But you can go to ecoviewwindows.com and you check it out. They got a wide assortment of different window styles, different technology, all the way from the economy grade to anything above, and they got some great options. But window pane technology, I live in a Holder house, and our window panes, they're just not made the same. That single pane technology, that doesn't work. We've come a long way. We're going to take them up on the free estimate. You should as well. It's EcoView. And how about this? In the first 12 months, if you replace all the windows in your house, they're going to pledge to you 35% energy savings. We could all use that. All-inclusive, transferable warranty, just locally owned. Becky Jackson, wonderful lady. Her husband, her son, they're a part of the team as well. 205-564-8480. 564-8480. That's ecoviewwindows.com. When they answer the phone, please tell them Landrum from Jock sent you.
So Auburn basketball a few moments ago, they announced an exhibition contest against Florida State in the third annual Ballin' in Boutwell on Wednesday, October the 14th. That will be played at Birmingham's Boutwell Auditorium. The game against FSU will serve as Auburn's first exhibition of the season, and it's the second straight year the Tigers have opened the season at Boutwell Auditorium. So this will be a good opportunity. I know Conrad's taking FSU Dave down to Bryant-Denny Stadium for the Seminoles and the Tide. This will be a good opportunity for you to take in some basketball with FSU Dave Landrum.
Yeah.
And take him down to Boutwell for the exhibition game with Auburn basketball.
No, we can do that. I'm trying to remember the last time I went to Boutwell.
Boutwell? I was going to say, been a minute?
It's been more than a minute. I think it was a Blues Traveler concert.
Was it really?
In high school.
I didn't know if it was like a roller derby or something.
Did they have roller derby there?
I don't know.
I think you could do it there.
Could you? Is it big enough?
Yes.
Also, speaking of Auburn,
I went to something else there with a girl.
So this morning, the Aflac kickoff game in partnership with Auburn Athletics, later this month, they're going to launch a new groundbreaking name, image, and likeness deal, marking the first time a neutral site college football game has incorporated NIL compensation for student athletes. In the multi-million-dollar agreement, the Peach Bowl, through the Aflac kickoff game, will partner with third-party entities to secure marketing assets and promotional appearances by up to 24 Auburn student athletes. So beginning this month and running through the game on September the 5th, participating student athletes will engage in a variety of activities designed to promote the game and its surrounding events through social media posts, public appearances, advertisements, in-game promotions, and media interviews, as well as signage and branding opportunities. This is very similar for the basketball tournaments that you see out in Las Vegas. So this is pretty big. The first time ever that a football game, and it's the Peach Bowl Incorporated, and the Aflac kickoff game in partnership with Auburn Athletics. And that was one of the things that we were told when Auburn was moving that game from Jordan-Hare Stadium to Atlanta, that there were going to be these opportunities come up and people were going to understand it. It maybe irritated some folks at the very beginning that they were moving the game, but they also understand in the long run, I think Rob Pate brought it up to us last week, that these young people now are going to have some NIL opportunities because of the game being moved.
Well, it's now season to season with roster management and how you spend your money. What if this saves you $5 million towards your roster for this season?
No doubt.
That $5 million goes towards the kids that you're trying to get in through the 2027 recruiting class. I mean, it goes a long way. I'm thinking that while we've seen it in college basketball, the reason we haven't seen it in college football is because the numbers would have to be that much bigger. So I would think that Auburn getting a pretty good chunk, and I don't know how they distribute that with their players, if it's all even cuts but probably part of that opening game is tied into some of these current deals that we have.
It's also funny that they continue to call these guys student athletes. I mean, come on, let's just call it the way it is, right? Maybe one day. We'll see.
There's not a whole lot of talk about books.
Well, one thing is for sure that we talk about NIL a lot on this program. We talk about how important it is. We've mentioned the fact that John Cohen has gone out, and since he's been the athletics director at Auburn, NIL fundraising has gone up 70% with him at the helm. Greg Byrne talks about it all the time, how important it is. And it also comes about the positivity of your program, whether you're Alabama, Auburn, UAB, it doesn't matter. You got to have your fans, you got to have your student body. They got to be positive about moving forward. You got to feel good about what you have to support financially. Well, Hunter Yurachek, the current athletics director at the University of Arkansas, also the chairperson of the College Football Playoff Committee. Yes, again this year, we got to suffer through that every Tuesday. Listen to what he had to say to Arkansas Razorbacks Plus. This was behind a paywall. Listen to his criticism of the folks out there that's taking shots at Arkansas.
Every single aspect of our department is bought into our football program needing to be successful. And we need that from across our state for people to be positive and create a positive narrative about the direction of our football program. Because if the narrative is always negative about our football program, you know who reads the social media more than anybody? 16 to 18-year-olds, right? And the 16 and 18-year-olds want to come to a place that is just saturated with negativity. Absolutely not. They're going to go somewhere else. So we've got to have this all-in mentality from within our department and outside of our department, and that's got to permeate throughout our fan base. And if you're truly a Razorback fan and you truly want this program to be successful, you have to bring that positive energy in every aspect of your support for our program. And that doesn't mean you have to give money. That just means you have to be positive, you have to believe, and you have to be all in as well. Because if we don't have people across the state that are all in and bought into the football program and Coach Silverfield's vision, we don't have a chance to be successful.
I agree with a lot of that, but attitude reflects leadership, and give the Arkansas faithful something to be excited about and give them a reason to be in a good mood. And how you do that, that's putting a winning product on the field. And you also have to energize your fan base. And, no disrespect, and I know he's got an uphill climb, but I think Alex Golesh would have been that splash higher. I don't know if Ryan Silverfield is. Quite frankly, I don't think he is. I think it comes with a lot less splash.
See, it's people like you because you're being negative. You're not being positive.
You're right.
About Silverfield. You're not being positive about the program. Here, how about this? You're an athletics director at the University of Arkansas, where the number one product that you have, and you just mentioned it, Mr. Yurachek, in regards to so goes the football program, so does everything else at the university. In 4 years of Southeastern Conference play, would you like to take a guess, just off the top of your head, how many wins does Arkansas football have in conference play in the last 4 years combined?
Ooh, I will go 1 win on average per year. 4.
I'm going to go 6.
A little bit better. They're 7.
7.
Okay.
But they went winless last year. Didn't win a game in the Southeastern Conference. The year before, they actually went 3-5. You remember they went to the Liberty Bowl. Okay.
Oh, that's
it's a
right.
prestigious game.
Yeah, it was. As a matter of fact, Pittman went 7-6 that year overall. They went 1-7 the previous year in the SEC. So over the last 3 years, you've only won 4 games in conference play. So I mean, there's a reason why there's negativity about your program. It's not like they're. Listen, everything, and we know a coach that knows Coach Silverfield very well. Mm-hmm. He's a great guy.
Yes.
And this is not an indictment on him as a football coach, but you are not hiring someone that is going to get people in Arkansas excited about the football program. It's just not, it's not there. And it's like you said, Alex Golesh, coming back to his wife's, home state, got some ties. I mean, I think you could have sold that because guess what? Golesh brings an exciting style of offense that's going to get the fans fired up. Byron Brown would have been the quarterback at Arkansas.
Yeah.
I mean, and all of a sudden.
And you would have had upgrades in a lot of your skill, because I would argue that those South Florida players were more talented than what Arkansas had.
There's no doubt about that. So, you want to chastise. And you remember last year he went to Little Rock, Arkansas, and he spoke at a touchdown club. And remember he pointed the finger again? He's blaming all these people, and he's blaming all these outside entities. Well, how about putting a good product on the field? Because you saw what the basketball program has been able to do,
That was a
right?
splash hire.
Yeah.
That got people fired up.
Yeah, you go out and you hire Calipari, and look what Calipari's brought to the
table. Do
table.
Vanderbilt supporters or do Indiana supporters, do you think they have a different attitude towards their football? I know we're talking extremes here, but it doesn't take much to get a positive culture going with your fan base. Win some games, have some wins. They've been dreadful.
Well, you hired the guy that beat you, so that's exciting, right? In a game that you should have won and you choked away like a handful of games last year.
Yes.
And then when you look up and you see your Vegas win total is dead last in the SEC at 4.5 wins for 2026. I mean, once again, where's the positive nature? I mean, when Ty Richardson's doing a show, I'm not defending Ty, but if I was doing a show in Arkansas, I mean, you can't avoid that conversation.
Mm-mm.
I mean, all of a sudden, am I getting a call off the air from Hunter Yurachek saying, "Hey, you know what? You're not going to be giving credentials to any games this year because you're negative about the football program." I'm like, "Hey, pal, well, what have you done to give any Arkansas football fan in this state a reason to be excited?"
That would be my question.
Zero.
Why should we be excited? Do we just need to be fake excited? You have a pep squad.
I mean, last year,
no
your
disrespect, but they will come in here and they will try to manufacture some excitement.
Arkansas was predicted 14th last year, and they finished dead last with no SEC wins. And it was bad enough that you gave Bobby Petrino one of the most questionable individuals that have ever coached in the Southeastern Conference, and that is saying a lot. You give him a second chance in Fayetteville to run your football program after getting rid of a very good football coach in Sam Pittman.
They've had a winning record in the SEC one time in the last 15 years.
Yeah.
And it was 5-3.
Now, I understand that Hunter Yurachek has not been in charge of their athletics program the whole time. And let's not even go down the road of Mr. Yurachek of how incredibly stupid he looked with the whole tennis fiasco. Let's get rid of the tennis programs. And then all of a sudden, let's do a bout face a couple weeks later.
I'm looking at their schedule. There is a legitimate chance that they go 2-10.
Once again, Silverfield can only do as much as he can, and but you heard the athletics director. I firmly believe, and we see him every Tuesday night. I mean, he's a complete joke running the college football playoff, and he will continue to be that way every Tuesday night. And the football program will continue to spin in the mud, and everyone will be excited after about the first month of the season because Arkansas is going to have a very, very good, highly touted basketball team again. And people will quickly, just like Kentucky basketball has done for many, many years, you get done with the first month of the college football season and they're off to basketball.
Well, and they've loaded up, as I've seen in the transfer portal in baseball. Dave Van Horn's going to have another loaded club. That's a whole nother discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but other aspects of Arkansas athletics, reason to get excited. See the tennis program. They let them back in the building. That's good.
But could you imagine an athletics director going on behind the paywall? Like you're paying for it. I mean, it's like Conrad if he went on Yay Alabama because he's a big-time subscriber to Yay Alabama. A lot of money goes to that every month.
Mm-hmm.
And, all of a sudden Greg Byrne pops up and he says, people like Conrad Van Order just cannot be negative about our program. Can't do it. You got to muzzle him. How do you think that went over with people in Arkansas when they saw that?
Not great.
Well, when you're
Landrum's not helping though.
When you're 2-4 after October 17th, and you have Missouri at Auburn, South Carolina at Texas, and LSU left.
My goodness.
Well, we just remember we need to be really positive in that second half of the season so that the kids in the Birmingham area and across the state of Alabama will still consider going on a visit to Arkansas.
Well, if we're not careful, Buc-ee's is going to pull out of their deal, and we're not getting one there in the natural state.
Very true. If you got a dangerous tree leaning over your house or maybe branches blocking your view, you need to call Goldston Tree Service today, 205-337-4443. Goldston's licensed pros. They'll handle everything for you from trimming and pruning to full tree removals, fast, safe, and affordable. Don't wait until that next storm causes damage around your property. Call Goldston Tree Service, who also offers the very important 24-hour emergency tree service. So if you got trees that may be a risk to your home or your property, including your car in the driveway, call Goldston, 205-337-4443.
Your reaction on the Jocks text line. We'll get to those reactions next on Three Man Front.
Text line is open. So is the phone line, 205-834-9450. We've been monitoring things that's been going on in Charlotte, North Carolina at ACC Football Media Days. We told you some of the things that was being discussed by Jim Phillips, saying that he believes that there is some momentum about the college football playoff expansion. He says 24 is the right number for us. Our coaches and athletic directors are unanimous on that. He also mentioned the potential realignment expansion going around in college sports. He says, I've always wanted this conference to be in a place where schools want to be, not where they have to be. Very interesting, to say the very least. ACC also announced today, remember last year, the whole kerfuffle about the ACC tiebreaker? Do you remember that?
Yep.
How that was a lot of mess going on. Well, the ACC today announced a new football championship tiebreaker that will take effect beginning with this upcoming season, reflecting the league's transition to a 9-game conference schedule and ensuring a fair and equitable process in determining the participants for the ACC football championship game. Head-to-head results will always matter the most. No team will be ever rewarded or penalized based on the number of conference games it played. So a lot of times in the ACC, you might have some inclement weather, maybe a hurricane that would affect the Florida schools or maybe the Eastern Seaboard. We've seen that, before. So it's all about the number of games you played. And it says when head-to-head competition cannot separate tied teams, the team with the strongest overall body of work will earn the opportunity to compete for the ACC championship and the conference automatic qualifier in the college football playoff. My question to that is, how is that determined?
So they're going to use the sports analytics, whatever, that the college football playoff is using. They're using those metrics. So basically what that's telling me is they are using whatever the college football playoff deems is the order of the rankings. That's the way I interpret it.
So in other words, the top two teams in the college football play, if there's a tiebreaker scenario,
would be the highest ranked, as opposed to what we got last year with a 5-loss Duke who was ranked, I forget what at the time.
But it is interesting because they, as they should, they put number one, head-to-head results will always matter the most. So the schools that are there today in Charlotte, as I'm sitting here looking at the list of schools that are participating, you got Florida State, Miami, NC State, Stanford, and Virginia. You'll definitely have Cristobal saying some things a little bit later that we will follow. But right now, Mike Norvell and some of his Florida State players, they're in attendance and they're meeting with the media. Mike Norvell moments ago says, the words don't matter, it's about the action. End of quote. Mike Norvell knows that there's nothing to say to his players about this upcoming season based on the two previous years, but they need to prove once again that they can win at the level they did back in 22 and 23. For those that forgot, Ashton Daniels is now a quarterback for the Florida State Seminoles. He was not named as one of the top 10 ACC quarterbacks on some lists, and he was quoted as say, you see that stuff every single day. What separates the best from the worst is how you handle it. I saw that. I don't care. What shows is the actions on the field, using that as bulletin board material. Yeah, that's in the back of my mind.
He's a grown man. He's a kid with a good head on his shoulders. And I'm glad he's getting another opportunity to play another year of college football. But good luck, Florida State. Not because of him, just good luck, Florida State.
Yeah. If you missed Scott Hamilton earlier in the program, Scott said that he anticipates that possibly Florida State would make a change as early as mid-October if the schedule goes the way many are predicting it to go.
After Miami beats their brains in and before they play Clemson during that bye week is what he's saying.
Yes.
That's when he'd be gone. And maybe joining Brian Kelly, calling Mountain West games. Eric is in Birmingham, 205-834-9450. Hey, Eric.
Hey, man, what's going on?
What's up, man?
Well, I've been listening to you about Arkansas, and I got a bunch of friends that I work with up that way in Russellville, about 2 hours south of Fayetteville.
Yeah.
Fayetteville, Arkansas. I went up there, check out the baseball stadium, because I heard it was really nice. It's jam up. Man, I drove all around that campus. I drove by the baseball stadium, jam up. The track and field stadium, jam up. 17 or 18 national championships, all right? You go up there to the football stadium, I took pictures of this. They had banners flying in front of the stadium, 8th place in the SEC, 13th place in the SEC, and last in the SEC. The problem is, after talking to my buddies, they do not care about the football program. All the boosters are with the basketball and with the track and field and the baseball. That's where all the money goes. They got more millionaires up there than, I think there's about 6 or 7 millionaires that's in that state, and they all donate to everything but the football, and it just baffles me. I don't understand that.
It's interesting.
That's my take on it.
Well, it's interesting because, there are certain schools in the SEC, I think, in this new order in regards to NIL, folks are going to probably have to say, all right, we can't be all things to all programs. Like, we need to pick and choose what we can be really good in. And I will use Mississippi State as an example. Mississippi State knows that they cannot compete with the Jimmies and Joes when it comes to football on a regular basis. So guess what they do? They earmark most of their money. It's going to go to baseball. It's going to go to basketball. And you know what? They're really good in those sports. And I think other programs in the SEC are going to probably have to go down that road. Do you agree with that, Landrum, in regards
100%.
to earmarking? This is what we do the best. So let's go all in.
Do we want to be so mediocre across the board, or do we want to find things that we're really good at and monetize those things?
Correct.
Basically, you take current customers and get them spending more. That makes sense.
Here's one other thing, and I'll let you go. Now, where does that leave Alabama? Because they don't have the money. Alabama does not have that kind of money coming in that program. They don't have that. They don't have what these other states have when it comes to this NIL. And it's going to ultimately hurt them in the end, I'm telling y'all. That money is not there for them guys.
Well, they
bring in a lot.
Yeah. Well, that's what Greg Byrne keeps him up late at night, trying to figure that out and trying to work that out, no doubt.
I hear you. Well, I appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Hey, Eric.
Great
thank
call.
you, man.
Thank
call
you,
anytime. Hello.
Hey, good morning, guys. And Molly, how's everybody doing?
Don, we're doing fantastic. How are you on this great day?
Hey, great. I'm glad you brought what's going on with the Auburn Baylor game, guys, and everything. And at first I didn't understand it because it hurts the city of Auburn, all the economic impact. But my goodness, guys, you cannot turn down something like this. I didn't know that all this was going to be involved in this, but man, oh man, these players are going to love this.
I would think so, and I'll save you some of your hard-earned money that you donate to their NIL.
Yeah, 17. I'm on the $17 a month plan.
How many of those 4 stars have you bought, Don?
Well, I didn't buy any of them at $17 a month, and Conrad just told me on hold that Alabama might be flipping the Simmons kid and everything. He grew up an Alabama fan. But I'm gonna tell you, Pat, you tell me this all the time. It's July, it's not December, and we're on some of the kids that have committed elsewhere. Away from us, like Tay Walden, for example, going to Oregon, and then Carlos May this weekend, which I don't think we're going to get. But you're going to come back and try to flip them. I mean, December is a long ways away, and Auburn's not going to keep all 20. Jeffrey Lee told y'all that Auburn's not going to keep all these 26 guys that got committed.
So I didn't see that on your newsletter this morning, your recruiting newsletter that I get. I did not see that about a possible flip to Alabama.
Well, we made a deal that it's a dead period, and I'm supposed to be quiet about Auburn recruiting.
You broke that like 4 days ago, Don.
Who's flipping?
Cedric Simmons, potentially.
To Alabama from Auburn.
But Conrad, you ain't got no money to buy him. He's a wide receiver from Prattville, I believe.
He's from Selma.
You like his measurables?
No, actually, I'm not really impressed with him, Landon.
Well, now hold on a second.
Now he's not impressed with
him. Time out. I remember reading.
He had 2,000 receiving yards last year, Don, as a junior in high school.
Conrad, now that he might not be going to Auburn, I'm going to use the Alabama logic. He ain't no good. We don't want him.
That's No, Don threw the line at me on the phone. He said, "Hey, Conrad, it's only July. A lot of these kids are going to flip, so
that's
we
my
don't
line.
need to."
That's my line. That's what I say.
What if
Kalen
DeBoer decides that he wants a bigger recruiting class this year, a bigger signing class? He's just going to go and take the 13 he wants from Auburn.
According to Rodney Orr, he don't have enough room on his roster. That's your excuse this year.
I think we just know we're not getting Manchin sales, so we needed another receiver. So we said, let's go get that kid from Auburn.
Yes.
Well, listen, Conrad, I put my head in the box for you the other day. Come on, give me a break.
You did. You're right.
He is not going to let you forget about that. He let you fondle his head.
I still haven't washed my hands since Monday.
I bet your hands were oily after touching my hair.
Conrad told me and Pat, he said, don't ever tell him this, but I'm going to. If Don ever shaves his head, I think he'd look great bald.
Oh, no.
Just because of the contour of your head.
Yeah, he was telling us about some nooks and crannies on your cranium.
He said you still have the soft spot.
Well, you know what? I'm not going to mention anybody's names, but I ever tried to shave my head bald, I would look worse than that gentleman would, bleeding all over the place, okay? So I just put it to you that way. It's hard for me to shave as it is, okay?
Oh, Don, thank you for the phone call.
Absolutely. Love you guys, man.
Love you too.
Thank you, Don. Okay. Appreciate it. Do you not get his newsletter?
I don't.
Check your spam. Because I put your email address in there.
You better not have.
I had to give him your email address. Had to give you your home address. Had to give a couple of Dorothy's cell phone number. Had to give. He requested all that.
I will kill you.
The Don newsletter coming to your email box very soon, next to your span weather forecast.
Paul at Lake Martin, hang on. We'll get to more of your phone calls, more of your texts on 3-Man Front. 11:48, 3-Man Front. Landrum, Pat, Conrad, and Molly. No Major League Baseball tonight. We had the All-Star game last night. 4-0 American League. Get most of it done in the top of the first inning off of Phillies starter, the hometown favorite, Christopher Sanchez. 3 hits. Never would have thought that, Conrad. 3 hits we get from the National League last night as they were blanked 4-0, and the American League continues to hold their edge. What is it now, 4 games all time that they lead over the National League?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what the overall – I think I had it saved here, but it's something like that, and I think there were a couple ties thrown in there back in the day as well. But yeah, it's been a pretty good stretch for the American League. I think it was the first shutout in an All-Star game in 13 years, maybe, if I remember the broadcast correctly. But just from all the excitement that you had of the home run derby, and then to parlay that into last night, and it was not that same excitement, was a little disappointing.
Also news about Auburn, their NIL with the kickoff game that they have tied in with Baylor, the start of this college football season. Also, Auburn basketball, some news there. Back in Birmingham for the exhibition for this season. Remember last year they participated there at Boutwell against Oklahoma State. This year they're going to take on Florida State October the 14th as the tip-off is set for 7 p.m. 205-834-9450. We'll get to your text, but first, Paul is on Lake Martin, wants to talk college football. Hey, Paul, how are you?
Hey, guys. First-time caller, long-time listener.
Thank you.
Listen, I got a question about the money that players are being paid through college. Is there any kind of standard that has been set or that might be set for how much colleges can pay the players? Like, say, $40 million a year, $60 million a year, $80 million a year? Or is it just whoever has the most money, can get whatever players they want? Is that how it goes?
Right now, technically, there's a roster cap, but schools are very creative, or a salary cap, but schools are very creative in how they're moving money around. So, no, they're finding ways around it. So, technically, to answer your question, there is kind of, but there isn't because schools are working their way around it.
And
as far as the standard, a lot of times it's these pseudo agents, it's misinformation. I heard this from a college basketball coach. I've told the story countless times. I won't tell it again, but it's schools reacting to a market that's not a reality. It's, hey, this school just offered my player $3 million. Are you going to meet it? Well, that school never offered the kid $3 million, but coaches are taking it and running with it because it's so competitive. To answer your question, no, it's a lot of agents that are setting the market, and to the fault of the schools that are signing these kids, they're going along with it. Heard it from a highly successful college basketball coach.
Well, okay, say teams like Oregon or Texas A&M or Texas Tech, even with the latest stuff from Campbell out there, is it just whoever has the most money is going to get the best players? Or, I mean, it just seems like there should be some kind of way to level the playing field. Say, hey, you can only spend $80 million on your roster. Of course, I know there's always been ways around stuff, but I didn't know if there's any kind of regulatory stuff in the works or if this Save College Football Act has addressed that. Or
technically, that's supposed to be covered in some of this protect, save, whatever, however you want to label it, this bipartisan bill. It's supposed to be able to distribute money where some of those schools, like whoever you're thinking about, that's not highly competitive when it comes to recruiting of the transfer portal, where they have some money that they can play with. The problem is the strong only get stronger in those scenarios. It's played out over the course of history. The top schools like your Ohio States, your Oregons, they're going to find ways to circumvent the system.
Yes, sir. I understand. Well, okay, I appreciate it. Can I add a comment?
Absolutely.
In my opinion, I think that however many conferences there are, only the conference champions should be allowed to play for a national championship. Because if you can't win your conference, how should you be allowed to win a national championship?
So let me ask you this, and I'm not playing devil's advocate because that is a very interesting.
If we're going to do that, I'm going to want an SEC tournament, a lot like we get in baseball or football, to decide that conference champion.
Would you want all schools in the FBS, their conference champions, to play in this college football playoff format that you just said, or would it just be a Power Four?
No, all schools. If you're a conference champion, you should represent your conference and play for the national championship.
Okay.
If you can't win your conference, you should not be allowed to play for a national championship.
All right, let me ask you this. Are we basing the championship game, do you want to have it set up like we do now with regular season standings? You decide we get Georgia and Texas, or would you like to see a tournament-style bracket where 8 teams, say half the conference, they qualify, and you play an extra couple of games before determining your champion?
Well, I don't know. Do all conferences have a conference championship game?
They do now, don't they?
Yes.
If all conferences have a conference championship game, you should take all conference champions, however many conferences there are, I'm not sure about that, but only conference champions should be able to represent their conference in a national championship playoff.
Okay. And thank you, Paul, for the phone call. I was just asking, how do we determine moving forward in this scenario, how we would determine those conference champions? Are you good with the setup that we have now with the rotating schedule, top 2 teams winning percentage? I kind of like the idea of, if we're going to eliminate some of the teams in the playoffs and those extra games we were going to get for inventory, let's have an SEC football tournament.
Interesting stuff. No, that is a very interesting proposal.
I'm trying to come up with solutions here.
But I can tell you that the SEC and the Big Ten would not be for that for obvious reasons.
No. But Paul on the Lake, he's thinking outside the box.
No, absolutely. And you need people like that to bring fresh ideas to the table because they are it's a stagnant process right now.
I like to think that Paul's making his way down to the dock right now, getting on that pontoon boat.
Yes.
Very underneath that canopy.
Mm-hmm.
SPF 30, Paul.
We are halfway home. We are wide open the rest of the way. We'd love to hear from you, 205-834-9450. If you'd like to call us, you can also text us at that phone line, 205-834-9450. We're just days away from SEC Football Media Days in Tampa. We will continue to monitor what's going on in Charlotte, North Carolina, with ACC Football Media Days.
Someone just tuned back in, and all they heard was Conrad fondled Don's head, and they're asking what is going on.
Jim Rome takes on sports.
Part of what makes this show is the show within the show. The biggest topic on the show always seems to be the show itself. This is a way to give you clones a way to interact with one another. Yes, we will be going through the chat. Yes, it'll be a part of the program. The only thing that could ruin the show are the old school clones spitting up the same bull crap that they always have. The jungle is out taking names and ready to dominate. Let's get it.
The Jim Rome Show podcast. Follow and listen on your favorite platform. Scrolling with Haley. Join Haley Caronia as she scrolls through the biggest headlines.
If you haven't watched this show before, we do blind reactions. I have not seen these videos, so I am seeing them for the first time with all of you. We're going to implement the tinfoil hat time segments and all the stuff you know and love. And I'm going to finish the show and answer some of your questions. Someone asked me what made you get into podcasting, and I was producing podcasts for other people. And I was like, I could do this for myself, and here I am.
Scrolling with Haley. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.